In the previous episode, I created some incredibly basic camera controls, and it's about time I actually had it rotate. In most modern first-person games, the camera is rotated by the movement of the mouse. However, I'd like the rotation to be controlled by a key press for now. Getting the camera to rotate isn't very difficult, it just requires adding an additional rotation to whatever the rotation happens to be. And now I can rotate the camera. However, and this is where I expect difficulty, I still only move in the 4 cardinal directions. I want my forward movement to be relative to the rotation of the camera, but right now it's always pointing in the same direction. I'd like to talk about how Unity handles rotation. For the purposes of this video, Unity handles rotation as a 3-dimensional vector, which points normal to the direction of rotation. This means it points in the direction which doesn't change as the object is rotated. The magnitude of the rotation vector represents how much the object has been rotated. If it's been rotated by 90 degrees, then it has a magnitude of 90. If it's been rotated by 180 degrees, it has a magnitude of 180. Consider this example. Initially, the rotation vector has no magnitude, as this is the default rotation. However, as the object is rotated, the rotation vector increases in size. However, it points in a different direction. In order to have the player move forward relative to the rotation of the camera, it is necessary that I make a conversion from the red vector to the blue vector. So I've made an attempt at this conversion, and it isn't quite working as intended. Small changes to the angles seem to result in large changes to the forward direction. Of course, the error was caused by my units. Unity expresses rotation in degrees, while the inbuilt sine function uses radians. I just need to chuck a quick conversion constant in there and we should be good. Here we are. I still need to edit the code for the other 3 directions. And that'll sort it. Now the player moves much more like any other first-person game. It's not perfect, as they can't look up or down, nor can they control the speed of their rotation, but it'll do for now. I'd now like to go back to my room creating function. Currently, if you give it a position, it will create a room with a predetermined size in that position. I want to change it so I can set the room size to be whatever I want. This is the result. Not much has changed as I've given it the same size which it had previously. However, I have changed the thickness of the walls. And here's another room. I've made it bigger just by changing a few numbers at the start of the script. In order to properly test this new function, I want to add some randomness to my room generation. Eventually, there will be tons of randomness all over the place, but for now, I just want to call the room making function with a few random numbers just to make sure that it works for a bunch of different inputs. This paragraph I've written here is technically 1 line of code, believe it or not. Try to guess what it does in the comments section. The most correct, detailed answer receives nothing. And now I've got a bunch of random rooms dotted about the place, all with varying lengths and widths. It actually had very few problems, so I'm quite happy with how this has gone. Finally, I'm just going to make it so that I can move faster if I hold shift. Right, that'll do. Goodbye.